Hey, just finishing up something here. Some work on a track. Uh, let's see. Almost done. Need a name. That's the hardest part of writing instrumental music for TV is coming up with names. And I've always kind of had the. This is good information right here if you're thinking about being in the music business. But I've always kind of had the opinion that on these instrumental tracks that basically end up in hard drives generally with millions of other tracks. I usually try to make the my hair is just a mess. I usually try to make the names fairly funny, right? Humorous in some way. So right now, lately, I've been doing I've been doing quotes from for this series I'm doing. And if the tunes are if they're not supposed to be funny or silly or whatever, obviously you can't necessarily use silly titles. But I've been using quotes from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And then what's happening is that you've got editors that are looking for music, and initially all they have to go by is the title. And then they click on the song and they listen to it. And the songs are usually in folders, or they have tags or metadata that um, helps them find something in the mood and style that they're looking for. Um, let's see. I think I'll call it. Let's see. What should I call this one? Let's see. Who goes there? Maybe that's not a bad one. It's not totally a direct quote from. From it's not going to be obvious like some of the others I chose. Okay, got a tie. Okay, so but in the others, there'll be. Where am I? What am I looking for here? Move to a folder. There you go. All right. And these were supposed to be kind of funny tracks in a way. So who goes there? Yeah, that'll work. Question mark. 117 BPM. I always put the tempo in there and the key for no other reason than for the friend of mine that's going to mix them. And I export. And now while that's exporting, I can talk to you guys. So, let's see. Okay, wait. Oh, the 5 chord. You substitute it with the 3 chord. Um, Substitute the fifth to the third minor of a key. I'm not sure what you. Okay, let me just see who's here. Hey, everybody. Are you done? Nope, still working. Okay, now they're done. All right, so let's see. We've got Diane's here, first in. Jim and Bonnie, Peter, you look good in that shirt, man. Um, you got the first so far. I think the only one so far, but the other one I haven't uploaded yet. I mean, haven't clicked like create yet. But the other one, yours will still be in there. So I think that I don't think it'll replace that one. So yes, I've started Mugu Mugu. So if you haven't, yeah, I started. I went ahead and created the. I created the event like about 10 minutes before, so you guys could start to congregate. Hey, Avito, Gary. Hey, Gary. It's been a while. Roger's here. The official scribe, or the official Moses, and the official engineer are here. Um, oh, good. I'm glad you did fishing with your dad. That's awesome. It's a lot of smallmouth bass. Okay, so Vito, you're saying, could you quickly show how you substitute the fifth to the third minor of a key. I'm finding it difficult to substitute the fifth. Take a song, for example. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit. I mean, I think I know what you're talking about. Like if we were doing just like G. It's a little weird to substitute the minor 3 for the 5, but it technically, because when you look at it, when you look at the notes in a B minor chord, we have B, D, and F sharp. And when you look at the notes in a D chord, the 5 chord, you have D, F sharp, A. So you can kind of, think of it as like B, let's see, parentheses, B, boom, D, F sharp, and like that kind of, where you can actually see, hold on a second, I'm rolling over my chords. Where you can actually see the common tones between the two. So there's the D minor, the B minor and the D major share 2 notes there. So you've got basically a lot of, any melody that pretty much will work over the D will work over B minor and vice versa. I'm not sure if that's what you mean, but I'm trying to think of a song that does that. I don't know offhand. Daria. Oh, hey, Daria. Or Dara. Dara. I don't know how to say it. Spell it phonetically if you can. Tacoma. Laura, hey, you're in the house too. And Hook is here. Excellent. Well, I'm going to do a lot of review, I think, and then I'm going to do a new scale. We did... basically, we've been talking about open scales. Open scales, meaning scales that use open strings. So they're not movable scales, which is one of the benefits of guitar, because we've talked about this many times. Anytime you learn something that has no open strings to it, it's movable. So if you learn a major scale, G major, then you know A flat, you know A major, and then you know B flat major. And that's the great thing about guitar. On piano, it's all about, you have to learn each one scale and each key individually. On guitar, it's not so much like that. However, when we're using open strings, we kind of lose that benefit. But there's something about open strings that's joyous, that fits with the certain genres, folk music, like old-time gospel, bluegrass, country music, even rock, acoustic rock music. Those scales will all... And so far we've done G major pentatonic, C major pentatonic, D major pentatonic. We did G minor pentatonic. We also did G minor blues. We also did C minor. Right? Kind of cool because it's just the bottom 3 strings are just 2 fingers, really. But C minor only has 1 open string, and then C minor blues, pentatonic, and then the blues. get that blues note in there, and it gets kind of fun. So, so let's review all of them. And I've uploaded to the Discord those 2 sheets so far. So if you have not been joined the Discord, I'm going to give you a join link right now, an invite link. Here it is. And you can go there. And if you go to, hey, Quail. If you go to Tom's Bookmarks, you'll see all of the PDFs that I've uploaded there, and maybe some JPEGs too. Hey, Jeff Hedbeck, are you kidding me? Jeff Hedbeck is one of the world's premier studio designers. He's a freaking genius, and we went to high school together. We grew up in Indiana together. Jeff, you went to North Central, right? Or was it Carmel? Yeah, Jeff, you can look around and see if I did it right. We bought it. This is my studio. Jeff, I'll tell you a story right now. You guys will get a kick out of this. Yeah, North Central. Yeah, So, we've lived in the same apartment building for 32 years of our marriage, and managed it for 25 years, basically living pretty much free, except, of course, there was a lot of work for that free, so nothing's ever free. And finally, over the years and years of working and building my work and everything, we finally saved up enough money to buy a house in Los Angeles, which is no small feat for a musician. And our kids are all grown, so they didn't get to live in the house. I feel bad, but they don't know any different. They loved growing up in the building. In fact, the boys are still in the building. They're managing the building now. So I guess it wasn't awful for them at all. But the funny thing was, we buy this house, I spent all this money, and I literally we moved. We took a month to move because we didn't have to worry about 2 mortgages or anything like that. We weren't paying rent, so we took about a month to start moving stuff over, and then we scheduled one day to move all the furniture over, and the big stuff, the stuff that we couldn't fit in our cars, and my studio, all in the same day. And literally within an hour and a half of being here in the house, I had my studio up and running because I had work to do. I didn't want to take any time off. I had some clients that were asking me to do stuff, and it just, of course, happened right in that very busy moment. And so I set up my studio, and I didn't have the panels in yet. And Jeff, the first thing I had to do was acoustic. So I put my ears in, and I start recording acoustics, and all I hear are the walls. All I hear is reflections. The guitar sounds awful, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? I just spent X amount of dollars. Almost $1 million on a house, and and I can't work in it. I can't do my job. And then I looked at my mic and I realized I had aimed it at the wall instead of at the guitar. So I was only getting reflections, so that's why it sounded awful. I went, oh geez, I turned the mic around and it sounded amazing. So I was like, dang it. I was so worried. I was like, I'm going to have to call Jeff and have him totally redesign the studio. We'll have to take a second mortgage out. Exactly. So anyway, I figured you'd get a kick out of that. I thought of you when it happened. I was like, dang it, I'm going to have to call Jeff. So let's just review. I'm going to hold up the pictures. You can go ahead and do a screenshot if you guys don't want to go to the Discord. And the Discord basically is all the people you see here in the live chat, many of them. And they continue stuff, and we all try to be really kind to each other and pray for each other and encourage each other and continue the discussion. People have things to share, whether they're pictures. Peter just shared a picture of the shirt that I put up on my YouTube that says, don't worry, or no, it says, there won't be a quiz on this. Now I've got a new one that's going to come out that says, don't worry, there won't be a quiz on this, which is something that I say, and it's a drinkable celebration. So make sure you have a libation handy. I have my Starbucks. I'm not endorsed by Starbucks, but I should be. I could hashtag them in the description. So you have your drinks handy. Maybe at some point Gary may post, if you're new, Gary may post the list of things that I do that will allow you to take a drink, which is one is touch my face. We're not in the coronavirus era where we're not supposed to touch our faces, so that's hard. And now, you see, the funny thing is I never touched my face before, but now whenever I'm thirsty, I touch my face. So it's had the opposite effect. It's very Pavlovian now, but... So here's the first day we did this sheet, okay, and that's up there. It's the second to last PDF that I posted, so if you want to do a screenshot of that. Actually, do I have... Oh, no, I deleted... Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, cool. Still have it. So, everything at the dentist went well, just to clean. That was from... Everybody was asking me that. That was Monday, right? No, that was Wednesday. I was late Wednesday. Okay. So, I put X's on the roots, okay? In the first one, the first G major pentatonic shape in open position, you see 3 X's. We have 3 G's we can land on, which is great. It's why it's one of my favorite pentatonic shapes is because you have 3 roots you can land on. So when in doubt, land on the root. Now the root note is going to sound a little weird over the D chord. And we're talking about maybe a progression like... Now, something like that, you know, some basic thing. And so the thinking is, over this G chord, you play G major pentatonic. Over the C, you play C major pentatonic. Over the D, you play the D major pentatonic. And that's definitely kind of an approach I take when I'm playing mandolin. Although I really like the sound of the minor pentatonic, so I'm going to actually take out the mandolin and work on those 3 minor pents, the G minor, the C minor, and the D minor. Particularly, D minor works great over the G and the D chord. We're going to see that here in a second. So, but the great thing about having 3 roots to land on is, like I said, it makes you sound like you know what you're doing when you land on a root. You land on the root of the chord, it sounds like, okay. Now, you don't want to do that all the time. It's going to be a little boring. Sometimes you want to land on the 3rd. Sometimes you want to land on the 5th. Sometimes you want to land on the 7th. Okay, so... and I really like these gravity picks. I need to order a bunch more because I'm starting to wear them out. But I like them because I get the ones that don't have the polished edges because I like that little bit of scratchy sound. That Edge uses these picks for U2, and he does it intentionally to get that scrape. And that's one of those things where I couldn't figure out his sound forever because I thought he had some kind of like low grade distortion on his guitar to get that sound, and then some kid showed me. I was really mad that I hadn't figured it out and didn't know. So anyway, that's his little trick. But these picks aren't quite that scratchy, but they do have a little bit of that texture. And since I learned this trick with the YouTube pick, I call it the YouTube pick. I did a video on it. I could post it so you can see it if you want. But since I did that, since I learned this maybe, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, I notice now a lot more, particularly in the 60s and 80s, I'm sorry, 70s music, a lot of 70s rock. I can really hear that contact between the pick and the string a lot more than I noticed before, which is kind of cool. Yeah, and it may not be for you all the time. I like to use it like with blues. If I'm playing a blues... and it might be a period that I'm going through, and then at some point I'll like the sound of a very round... this is what I used for probably 30 years, which is or 20 years at least, the Dunlop Derlin, the 1.5. And it has a very silent sound to it. That's an oxymoron. I'm an oxymoron. But this one, it's starting to wear off now, so it's almost like a polished edge. But I do kind of like the sound of it. Okay, so get your third finger on the third fret of the sixth string, and then play that. And that's G. The notes in the G major pentatonic. Okay, so we know G, A, B, D, and E. That would be the root, the second, the third, the fifth, and the sixth. So there's. What did I just write there? Oh my gosh, not paying attention. Sorry. There we go. Looks like a curse word that begins with the letter R. I can't think of any curse words that begin with the letter R. That's funny. Look. I had a band in high school called that. Here, that's a drinkable offense right here. Take a sip. I had a band in high school called R at number sign, pound sign, percentage. Oh shoot, carrot. It's a carrot. I learned that at the beginning of all this, back at the beginning of COVID. I learned that that's called a carrot. All right, you guys are teaching me stuff. Deafening silence, exactly. Her silence was deafening. How many of us have heard that? So the G major pentatonic is G down here, and then open A string, A, and then B at the second fret, and then open D string, and then E at the second fret, and then open G, and then we're at the beginning again, there's another G, then A, second fret, open B, D at the third fret, and then open E, that's our 6, and here's our root again. And then backwards would be 3 0, 3 0, 2 0, 2 0, 2 0, 3. And you could go down to E if you want. That's in the key. Okay, so there's an E and G major pentatonic. But I'm just trying to get you the roots. Now maybe on like D we'll go further down because we need more notes because D is a smaller, going to be a shorter scale. But with this one we have plenty up here. And generally when you're soloing, you kind of want to gravitate towards higher notes to kind of sit on top of everybody. Think of it as the melody, you want to put the melody more on top because when you're soloing, you are the melody. And then just make up some exercises to do with this so you can get familiar with it. One might be just go groups of 3, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Descending 3. Now, keep in mind, anything like that's going to sound like an exercise. The goal of that is just to give yourself dexterity in your left hand and then picking skills in your right hand, and then to try to bring those two skills together so they're working together. That just sounds like an exercise. However, you might find using... do I hear somebody here? Oh. Okay, so there's the G major pentatonic. The C, go ahead and play the C chord. And that's the other thing you can do too, is you can make the G chord and kind of make the pentatonic while kind of pseudo holding the chord. Just arrived. What am I missing? Just a funny, was it a funny story? I hope it was. What I didn't see what if Jeff replied to that. Where are you, Jeff? Did you disappear? There you are. Yeah, nice. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, and right now, Leo, we're doing a review, so you haven't missed anything technically. Okay, put your third finger on the C note on the third fret of the fourth or the fifth string. That's our root, and then same thing. It's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So we have C, C, D, E, G, and A. There's our. Excuse me. There's our. 5 notes, pentatonic scales of 5-note scale. All right, and that would be like this. So we have third fret on the fifth string, then open D, fourth string, second fret, then open G string, and then the A on the second fret. And then here's our other root. We have 2 C's in here. Here's the other C, first fret, the second string, third fret on the second string, open, first string, and G. If you want, you can go up to this A. If you want, you can even go up to this C up there. Whoops. You know, I might be more prone to, instead of playing the open E, although the open E allows you to do stuff. Check this out. I'm going to show you a little trick. So those, starting on the E note, after that we had the G, and then we had the A, and then we had the C up here, okay? That's a lot to do on one string, right? You don't have to do that. The beauty of an open string, and country players and bluegrass players do this all the time. It's a really good skill to be aware of. Let me just get my foot up. There we go. Is you use that open string, hit that open string, and then get into the position up here where you can play those. See, I could play it on the first string. I could go 3rd fret, 5th fret, 8th fret, or I could play it here at the 8th fret, play 2nd string, 8th fret, 10th fret, same notes, right? G, A, C. But this is harder. This is easy. So try that. I'll go slow. I'll do it in slow motion. So you didn't know there was all that motion going on because I did it slow. You could see there was a lot more stuff going on that I do so fast you can't even see. So fast, not fast. It's something about getting older. You make your S's, when you do that, it's like instead of saying fast, you say fast. It starts sounding like Sean Connery. You're a very sexy woman, Mrs. Strahle. Okay, so this is the trick. So instead of doing this, you go like this. C, down at the second string, 1st fret, then the D, E, and then go up here and finish it out. So it's like. Now you're up there, and you can have some fun up there with some scales. But basically, the idea is, you know, so you can fit it. You know, you can use it to go up and down. So basically, what you're doing is you're using that open string as an opportunity to move up the neck. That's like a serious trick. Yeah, isn't that a neat trick? And it's, you know, I like. That's kind of what I'm doing with all those kind of licks, is basically just using open strings in conjunction with higher fretted notes to keep things ringing out as much as possible. It's really cool, kind of that's like a fingerstyle thing. But I hear it in country music all the time, and bluegrass too. All right, so hey Jamie, what's going on? Mr. Bond, yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is. I used to make fun of an old pastor at one of the churches. He used to get up and pray, and he would say, Holy Spirit. I was making fun of him. Now I catch myself doing it, and I'm going, it's got to be something about getting older. It's just got to be, it's just, I don't know, if you get lazier as you get older with your speech. It's just, I'm laughing at myself. I'm not making fun of anybody else anymore on this one. So, okay. So, all right, let's, we got the C. Let's do the D one. Now, there's 2 D ones. The one that's written there is using the open strings. But I found that one as I was teaching it to be a little bit unnatural feeling for me anyway. So I ended up using one that was just more of a fretted pentatonic thing like this. But let's learn the open one that's written there. And I'm going to start with the open D string. See where the 2 X's are on that 3rd scale. Those are your 2 Ds. So you only have 2 Ds unless you go up to this one. So you have 2 root notes that you can land on, which are always good. So open, and then first finger on the 2nd fret and 3rd finger on the 4th fret. And there's your 1, 2, 3. And there's your 5 right there. So there's your A. D, E, F sharp. Yeah, right? That could be Dennis. Hey, Jamie. Okay, so you can do that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 is the open B string. So open, D string, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 2nd fret, open, 2nd string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, which is our D root, and open E string and then F sharp. Okay. Now, if you want, since you got your first finger on the F sharp, you might as well take your pinky and go all the way up to the A up here. But I didn't write that on that one. It's a little tricky because of the right hand and left hand coordination is a little off because we have 3 notes on the D string and then 1 note on the G string and then 2 notes on the B string, and that's just kind of getting those 2 hands even hard for me. Even me. Okay, so what I did was I changed it, and here's the change, if you could see that, the one below, where I said or, okay? And just to get to that point, let's do the bottom string open, 2nd fret with the 1st finger, open next string, 2nd fret, and then open. I would use that a lot. The open A to the B, so 5, 6, 1. Okay, do that with me. Go. Hit the open A, hammer on the 1st finger, and tricks for hammering on. Try to use the tip of your finger. To get a little more bone there. Okay, it's going to be a little more solid. If you go more on the pad of your finger, it's going to be a little softer landing. The other thing you want to do is try to get as close to the fret wire, but not on the fret wire, okay? If you're too far back, you're going to have to push harder to get, but let the fret do most of the work. And then speed is important. If I go really slow, it doesn't matter how hard I push, it's not going to happen. So that makes for a good hammer on. And then we go to the D string and then hammer on again, and then pluck the D string. So. And in slow motion, that would be. Sorry. Can you tell I'm in a goofy mood? Huh? Huh? Can you tell that? Huh? Huh? Can you tell? I don't know if you can tell or not. Okay, so the other way to play this then would be open D, 2nd fret, 4th fret. I'm here for your entertainment. You know that. That's why you're here. None of you even have guitars in your hands. You don't even own guitars. Okay, 2nd fret, 3rd string, then 4th fret of the 3rd string. So now we're not using the open B string. 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then pinky on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. First finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and then pinky on the A. Again, these are on the Discord site. That Discord link is probably no good, so I'm going to have to go grab another one, but I'll do that right now. I posted one about 15 minutes ago, maybe more like 20 minutes ago. So here's the Discord. All right. That's a join link if you haven't. Jamie, if you're not a member, you can go there and get the PDFs of me scanning these things. Okay. What was I going to do? I was going to do something to those majors. Dang it. All right. But that's the 3 major scales. Okay. Hopefully I'll get to the D. Man, this guitar is filthy. Gosh. Hopefully I'll get to the D minor pentatonic, okay? But here's the G minor pentatonic. We're going to start on G, and let me get rid of this. can I wonder if I can add a PDF. Let me see what that looks like. That could be really weird. Add image. It probably, let me check. G minor pent. All right, whatever. Okay, let me go find it. Should be in here. Desktop, live stream stuff. Nope, nope. None of the PDFs are highlighted, only JPEGs or PNGs. Okay, good to know. So what I'm going to do then is this. Since I've created the PDF already, I'll go here. CSI Strahle right now. You're watching me on a computer. It's solving a murder. It's like I'm Googling right now. Did Steve kill Bob? Yes. Okay. Arrest Steve. What am I looking for? Desktop. Okay, sorry. My brain is not there. Okay. So open minor pentatonics. Here it is. I'm going to do 2 screenshots. I can do this one. Get this one. And then this one. Okay. All right. Oh, that's right. We created hybrids. Yeah, that slowed us down, and that will. I'm not going to talk about the hybrids. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and. Okay, got to name these. I don't have to name them. Okay, so now here's one. Open. That's a big graphic. Holy crud. Oh, wait, it's funny. Oh, my gosh. How do I make it smaller? There we go. Having a hard time finding the edge of it. It was so big. Okay, so there's that one. And let me grab the other one. It's going to do the same thing. So stupid. Okay. Image. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to be able to. I'll save it for now, but this one. Okay, bye. All right. And there's this. Okay. See you guys later. So these are the two that we did. The two that we did Wednesday. So these are screenshots of the PDF from Wednesday. Okay? Does that make sense? Am I talking in circles here? Let's see what. Vito, what are you asking? You could just record a section off your second monitor. Oh, I don't have a second monitor. Sorry. I should have a second monitor. I don't know. I'm fine. I'm fine working with the one. It doesn't really bother me. Okay. So the very top one there, top left, we're going to do that pentatonic. We're going to start on the 3rd fret of the bottom string. Then the next string we go 1st fret, then 3rd fret, then open, 3rd fret, open, 3rd fret, 1st fret, 3rd fret, 1st fret, and 3rd fret. So backwards, it's going to be 3-1. I'm referring to frets, but it also applies to fingers in this case. 3-1, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1, 3-1-3. We can bring it back to the root, okay? It just sounds so good over the keyboard. I just love the sound of that minor over the major chord. Very bluesy, but also very bluegrassy. So, and then if you want to add the blues note, the second scale up there at the top, the G mix or G minor blues, you would at that note. Now you'll notice there's only 2 open strings on this G minor pentatonic, and there's only 1 open string on the C minor pentatonic. So we're barely in that realm of open scales. Verdi, it's okay. You know, I could somewhere I may have your email address. I'm not sure, but I can email you the PDFs too if you want. Or you know what I should do is I need to put them in. I should put them all in the Dropbox and put links to them on my Facebook page. I'm not really doing any Facebook page maintenance lately. I just had just too many things to keep track of in the midst of everything. So. Okay, so the blues note, so let's start with the G root again. Go down to F and come back to G, there you go. So 3rd fret, and then 1st fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret with the pinky. Sounds like aqualung. Yeah, you can just email me at tstrahle@gmail.com. And then I'll check it and then I can maybe send you those PDFs. Okay. And then open D string, and that's where it gets cool because you got that C and then the C sharp and then the D. So basically, you got the root, the flat 3, the 4, the flat 5, and the 5. Okay, and then we go from the D, open D string, and then 3rd fret, open G string, 3rd fret, 1st fret, 2nd, 3rd. Oh, we haven't seen Pepper. That's a very fun scale. Sounds great. There's a lot of, you know, obviously I'm. So many fun things. You can just start messing around. You start hearing things that you don't. You go, oh, that sounds familiar. So that sounds familiar. I only did that so we could take a drink. I'm also using more air quotes when I'm thirsty. I don't have enough infractions here. Okay, let's go to the C minor pentatonic. We have C, starting there at the 3rd fret. Then, so we can go all the way down there if we want. Everything, the C minor pentatonic is all just 1 3 1 3 1 3, but we're going to start on the C note. So we start 3rd fret, 5th string, and that's a C. Then we have E flat, which is a flat 3rd. This is what makes it a minor pentatonic. There's the 4, F. Open G is the 5th. It's the only open string we're going to have in this scale. Excuse me. And then B flat, which is the 3rd fret. C, which is the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And then up here on E flat. So we're going to have to get our pinky involved. You could use your 3rd finger if you have to, but I like using my pinky. And then, oh man, I'm sorry, I'll have to text her. Oops. And then to finish it off one there, which F and G, 1st fret, 3rd fret, and then the blues would be in between those, which is nice. Do that with me. 1st fret, 1st string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, pinky on the 4th fret of the 2nd string, and then root. Even over the C major chord, even though I'm not playing an E in that lick, it just sounds fun. Now you could do that. See what I did there? I went F, F sharp, G, F sharp, F, E flat, and then I hit the open E string, top string open. Essentially what that did was, we took that flat third, went up to the third. I do that like a lot. Which would be G, third fret on the first string, G flat, or F sharp. Let's call it G flat. I should have called it G flat before, because I'm calling it the flat 5. So to call it F sharp and say flat 5 is contradictory in some ways. So G, G flat, F, E flat here on the pinky on the fourth fret of the second string, and then E string open. And then go to C there. Notice I'm really swinging it. I think my wife got that. The doorbell rang. Oh good, she got it. My friend Jim is dropping off his mother to hang out with my wife. They can have a little break. She's 93, but she's actually really mentally 100% there, so it's great. Beth loves talking to her and hanging out with her. Beth was great with my mom when she was living with us. Okay, let's do the new one, which is D minor pentatonic. Okay. Start on the D string. Again, we'll go ahead and go down because we're gonna want more notes than we have when we just play it on the. But D minor pentatonic, the notes are D, F, G, A, C, and that would be the root, flat 3, 4, 5, and flat 7. I don't know if Jim's going to make an appearance or not. He might show up. Okay, so we have open D string, and then third fret with the third finger, open G string, second fret with the second finger, like that. You practice that much. Practice that much. There's the third, the major third. So that the F sharp is the major third. So if you want to. So that flat third and the third, of course, are right next to each other, and that creates a. If I want to create like a funky. Right, that sound is the third, the flat third going to the third. That's the sixth going to the seventh. And there will not be a quiz on any of these scale tone bits of information. So you may take a celebratory sip. But if you pick it up, that's great. Okay. So so we have just the first four notes so far. D, third fret is F, open G, A, and then we go to C right here, and there's D. And then, so open, so start again on the D string, open, third fret, open, second fret, first fret, third fret, first fret, third fret, and then back, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 3, 0, and then we keep going, 3, 0, 3, 2, 3, 1. There's the F. But we won't do that. All right, let's do it one more time. Open D string. Then the F is at the third fret of the D string. Open G. A at the second fret. C, which is the flat 7, is at the first fret. Then D, root. So here's one of our roots. And then F, G. Okay, so 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 0, 3, 0, 3, 0, 3, 1, 3, 0, 3, 0. That, you know, if you're gonna go down, you can go back up. You can land on that D note if you want. Okay, now let's do the blues note. The blues note's gonna be an A flat, so all the A's have to be flatted. So the A, we have one A here on the second fret, so we're gonna go ahead and play the first fret as well. So we're gonna go open D, fourth string open, third fret, and then open G, and then first fret, which is A flat, and then A. Play that again. Open D, third fret, open G, first fret, A flat, second fret, A. And then back down to A flat, open G, third fret, F. You could do that. A flat, G, F. You can bend up or slide up to the F sharp and give it a wiggle to give it some, keep it ringing. I love this lick. Hit the G string open. And again, we're going to do the hammer on, pull off on the first fret. Oh. So I'm just going the fourth to the flat fifth, to the fourth, to the flat third, to the open D, to the root. Same thing up there. If you come up with a cool lick, if you invent something you like, you go, oh, that's kind of a cool lick, or I've heard that before, or I could use that, then what you want to try to do is find it in a couple different places. So you can play it anywhere, wherever you find yourself. So if you can find it in a couple places, you're more likely to use it. Now, generally, I used to play this way when I was soloing. I'd be like, okay, I want to use this lick, and I want to use that lick, and I want to use this lick, and I want to use this lick, and things like that. But as I got better and had a bigger kind of it's kind of like giving a speech and saying, okay, I want to say this sentence, and I want to say that sentence, and I want to say this sentence. And that's, you know, because you're reading a speech, you're preparing something. But then there's a thing called having a conversation. And that's where you can't really prepare in advance what you're going to do in that or say in that moment necessarily. And that's kind of what soloing should be like. It basically should be you having a conversation. I mean, it's a perfect example of that is when two people take turns soloing. It's like they're almost talking to each other. Like when Alex and I were doing the jam, where we each take a chorus and then the other one solos and then back and forth. It's kind of like you're carrying on a conversation. So. So I recommend, eventually you will get to that moment or that spot. I call it being in the zone, and I'm not always there. It's funny. I can get there a lot faster if I'm being paid to get there. I don't know if that makes sense, but if I'm in a session, it's kind of like if I'm around other people, if I'm working by myself, it may take me a minute to get to the zone. Okay, if I'm just somebody sends me tracks and I'm adding stuff to it, and they want a solo, which, doesn't happen that often anymore. But if they want a solo, it may take me a minute to kind of get in the zone. Sometimes I will stand up and play, because I feel like especially on electric, not acoustic, but on electric, if I'm standing up, I'm much more able to get into the zone. I think maybe because it's more in the ergonomics of playing a live gig, and so it kind of feels like that. In the studio, there's a little bit more pressure when you've got people around you to kind of get it right. So you maybe take less chances and come up with a solo that you know that's going to be great, but maybe not groundbreaking. That's one of the things I always liked about Lukather. The stories I heard about him and even talking to him, he just flew by the seat of his pants and came up with the coolest guitar solos on stuff in the 80s. And so many of those solos we know from songs in the 80s, everything from I Love LA to Rosanna to, Chicago tunes and things like that. Those were all Luke. And he would just by the seat of his pants. In fact, one of my favorite solos he did was I remember sitting in in a house in Culver, Michigan, or Culver, Indiana, on Lake Maxatucky, and I had a Sony Walkman cassette deck, and I was playing that solo to "Talk to You Later" by the Tubes over and over again so I could figure it out. And it's like almost all like it's almost all on a B string or something. And it was just like the most amazing solo. I'm like, dang, it's really, just a really fun solo, really fit the song. They had a lot of fun doing it, and you can tell. And I talked to him about that, and he said, oh yeah, that was the first take, and I didn't like the last note because I was flat or sharp, I can't remember which. And he goes, I wanted to do it again, but they were all like screaming and laughing and hollering in the studio, and they go, that was like the most amazing thing they'd ever heard, and they didn't want to touch it, because back in the day, if you recorded it again, if you didn't have another track to record on, that was it. The other one was gone. So nowadays you can record as many takes as you want. Nothing ever disappears, which is really cool. Yeah. Well, and Gary, I always say about 90%, anything I do, like 90% of anything I do that's genius was accidental. I mean, there are times where I go back and listen to something I did, and I'm like, wow, man, that's really cool. What was I thinking? And usually it was I wasn't thinking anything. I mean, Steve Lukather even told me that when I met him on in that situation. It was a NAMM show. He said, I'm going to tell you what Larry Carlton told me when I first came to town. He said, don't think, play. And that's exactly right when it comes to soloing. I mean, rhythm guitar is different. Rhythm, you're really trying to create a part. You want to be consistent. You want to get through the whole song and make sure they have a solid rhythm part or whatever. But soloing, just get in that place. And these scales are all tools that can help you do that. In fact, let me write out the D minor and D blues pentatonic now, and then I'll rescan this and put this up on. I'll rescan it and put it back up on Discord. So this will be the same one twice, but with new information. I found that, when I really just kind of close my eyes and go for it and don't really think about the chord changes or don't think about the key changes or anything like that, is if I've heard it, if I've heard the song, like usually when you're doing a solo, it's after you've done rhythm parts. So if you've done 2 or 3 takes on the rhythm, or let's say you're doing a live section and maybe you've played it, the band maybe plays it 3 or 4 times so they have a take that everybody likes, which is kind of old school, but that still happens. You've heard the song enough that you don't really need to think too much about it. Okay, so here's D minor pentatonic there, all right, and I'm going to add the blues notes. See there? Oh, I got to put the X's on the D's. Boom, 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 boom. All right, and then the D minor blues, or the D blues, yeah, D minor blues. And Vito, I don't know if I answered your question earlier about the 5th and the 3rd thing. Hopefully I did. Yeah, that's also true with strumming. I was having that problem in the studio. When was that? Monday. I went to Hollywood to work with some young songwriters and artists, and I was doing this pattern, and it was kind of an unusual pattern for me. It was one I hadn't done before, which I liked. That's what I liked about it, was I kind of came up with it because I wanted something that almost felt foreign, and it was kind of a finger picking pattern. And there were times where I could do it for 5 minutes without a mistake, and then there were times I couldn't do it for 5 seconds without making a mistake. I'm like, dang, what is wrong, man? I just couldn't get. Once you get it going, I got it going. It was fine. It was. I don't want to play it because it may come out on a record, but it was something, something like the, it was like. Well, if you don't. Ultimately, what I'm saying. Oh, and here's the. Let me do this. Hold this up so you can see it. There's a D minor blues. I'll show you that in a second. I'll play. We'll play it together in a second here. But basically, yeah, you want to do the groundwork of knowing scales. Okay. Like so, I'm playing over G. I know G major pentatonic. I know G minor pentatonic. I know G minor blues. I know G major scale. I know G mixolydian. So I know all those. All right. So now when it comes time to solo, I have it's almost like I can see all those notes on the fretboard. Okay. Now when you combine all those, there's very few notes that are no good. Like one of the notes that wasn't in any of those scales was G sharp or A flat, which makes sense. But there was a A, there was a B flat, there was a B, there was a C, there was a C sharp, a D flat, which is a flat 5. There was a D, there was no D sharp, but there was an E, there was an F, and there was an F sharp. So literally out of 12 potential notes, we only eliminate 2. All right? But even that I'm not thinking about. I'm just aware of it. And it's more aware in my head or in my ear. And so I touch my head, that doesn't count. Okay, I'm touching my face, so now we can take a sip. Gary, remind him again. Oh, you couldn't see that? Well, I was just wanting you to see the bottom 2. These 2 are already up there. Okay? So if you want to do a screenshot, I can put it right under there so you can see where they are. Wait a minute, how do I do this? Here we go. So when if I'm playing over G. I mean, I'm just hearing. I'm just hearing the notes there. I'm not really specifically thinking anyone. Excuse me. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing different things. I'm just playing things I know that are going to work. It's like I'm creating little melodies on the fly. It's almost like I'm scat singing, but with the guitar. So that's the place you want to get to, is where you're not so much thinking theory or thinking scales or thinking licks. You're making music. You're thinking musically. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think. No. I think if no, to be honest, so if he was asking me, what about the key of G sharp or A? To be honest, I mean G sharp's not a very common key, but I would call that B flat. That's more common, or A flat. Sorry, A flat. First, so yeah, I would capo, because if you look at like Tony Rice, if they're playing in A, A is not a hard key to play in, but they're playing in A. One of the guys will capo. But you have to know that you're in A. You can't think you're in G, because then you'll go up here and play like a G lick and you'll go, wait, that doesn't work. Yeah, because you're not in the key of G, you're in the key of A. So you have to be, like that lick. What was the D major we went, or what was it? C major. So this would be D. Where I use the open string to go up and down the fretboard, to go up the neck. Now, if I thought I was in the key of C, I would do this. Which is cool sounding, but it's not the thing you think you're going to play. Because remember, I was trying to do that. So, just using the open string to shift positions. So, so I would, capoing is definitely the way to go for those keys. If you're doing kind of a bluegrass, folk, maybe old time gospel, country kind of vibe, G is the holy keys, the holiest of keys. I mean, even if it goes to F, which would kind of be, if you play F, G, and C, that's technically the key C, but if it's ultimately the chord you want to land on is a G, then it's the song's in the key of G, whether it's G mixolydian or G major. So. What's Peterson? So let me, I'm going to scan that. Oh, let me show you, let me just go over the D minor blues real quick with you. Open D string, 4th string, 3rd fret on the 4th string, F, okay, open G, 1st fret, A flat, A, then 1st fret is C, 3rd fret is D, F, G, and an A flat right there. I love that one, okay, so get that one. It's a very blues thing to do. Keep in mind that's the shape that Stevie Ray Vaughan loved. I hear ya. It's been a long week. Well, I'm sorry, Peter. I hope it's a good. I hope next week is a better week. I hope you have a relaxing weekend. Okay, so that's the. Now we can go down further. Hit the D string. We go down to the C at the 3rd fret on the 5th string. Open 5th string. 3rd fret on the 6th string. Oh no, I'm sorry. Here we go. Hit the open A and then 4th fret on the bottom string, and then 3rd fret, and then F. All right. So then I think what we're going to do Monday is we're going to start with the major scales. And then we'll go to we'll do the G major and C major scales in open position. And then I'll probably do D mixolydian. And then we may do C or G mixolydian and C mixolydian. I just don't know yet. C mixolydian is great. I love C mixolydian. So C has mixolydian has a B flat in it. And that B flat is the flat third of the G, remember? So yeah, I'll be on. What day is the 4th? Is that Tuesday? Heck, I'll be on the 4th. What are we gonna do on the 4th? We used to do church every year. We did a 4th of July spectacular where we'd have 50 or 60,000 people show up. Actually, one of the best displays in all of LA. People would show up from all over to see it, but they canceled it this year because you can't gather in groups like that. So, who knows if we'll even be doing it next year? 4th is a Saturday. Oh, yeah, I'll be on the 5th. Yeah, there won't be a reason not to. Yeah, and we're still the recordings for services we're still doing on Tuesdays at this point. So we just did them last Tuesday. We did 2 weekends, and we're done. We're done now. So we did the 4th of July weekend. So yeah, and then after that I'll be having another one, but that'll be Tuesday, so it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, I'm planning on it. I mean, I may even do something on the 4th of July. Maybe have the kids over for a barbecue or something like that. Alex and I could do a jam. One thing I might do though, again, this is a little bit of inside baseball kind of stuff. Let's see. Hold on a second. Memories like the corners of our mind. It seems like dark in here, but one of the things that before you can monetize your YouTube channel, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 hours of view time, I believe. And what's crazy is if I do an hour and I have 30 people watching, that's 30 hours right there. 10,000 hours seems like it would take a long time to get to, but it actually is not that difficult if you have a lot of people watching. So we may actually go to Alex's channel to do the but I may go on my channel. We may do both channels at the same time. We'll bring 2 laptops and we'll both go at the same time. That might be a good idea, and then we can. But what I might have you do is I may only have mine open so I can tell you to go to Alex's, and I'll post the link, and I say go open that one, and if you want to open them both, that's fine too. But the idea is to get him to 10,000 hours of total viewing time. He's got about 530 subscribers. So the other day, you guys, I think 4 or 5 of you subscribed because he got 3 or 4 new ones on Saturday or Sunday when we did the Father's Day Jam. So I appreciate that. Yeah, it would be great if you can get up to 1,000. He just did 3 videos. He's going to have them post on 3 consecutive Fridays. So I think 1 posted today. And yep. Okay, you saw that one already. Okay, so yeah, that one is, and he's going to do another Jazz Master one. He's already done 3 videos and he's posted them on 3 consecutive Fridays. And he's got plans for several more. So he's going to try to do, he does gear stuff. He really likes Jazz Master, so he's going to talk about that. But he'll get on to other things too. So, yeah, you know, it just, yeah, even if you don't watch any of his videos, they may not, because he's more of a gearhead than I am. And he knows that kind of stuff. I just don't. You know, it's just not my forte. But he really gets into that stuff, and he's really smart in that arena. And so that's kind of what he's focusing on. So we're going to try to get him up to 1,000 subscribers. And in fact, I need to post a link on my Facebook page. I can't believe how many people I have following me on Facebook, my Facebook page. Yeah, I know, BKD. It's you know, it was just the shepherd is trying to be very, very cautious and very, very within. Shepherd is one of the few churches that really works closely with the city, and we've gotten lots of accommodations from the city because we've housed people in the building when they've lost their homes in fires. We've every police and funeral, fireman's funeral, we've offered our facilities, and they've had anytime the city wants to have a meeting on anything, they're allowed to use our facilities. It's you know the city actually is very in favor of shepherds, so hopefully it'll. It's your anniversary, Bonnie and Jim. Congratulations. Oh, that's your anniversary. Okay, that's our picnicking in the woods. Nice. That sounds like fun. And you guys are in what state? I forget. Oh, are you in? Dang it. Where, Bonnie? Where are you guys? I forget. Oh yeah, Studio One. Yeah, he should do some more of those. He should definitely do some of those. He'd be very good at that. You're right, Avito. He's good at Studio One. I mean, he produces whole records on that thing. So he's really. Oh, Oregon. Dang it. I keep forgetting you're in my time zone. Okay. Yeah, Oregon is gorgeous. I mean, I went to Portland back in the late '90s, and it was just beautiful, green everywhere. It didn't rain when I was there in July. I was also in Seattle in July, and it was gorgeous. But that was also in the late '90s. I was in Redmond, which is where Microsoft is, and I was doing a clinic there. It was crazy. I mean, that clinic was crazy. That room was so full. I had people literally, they opened the windows and had people standing in the windows and looking in the windows to watch my clinic back then. And it was crazy because that was '97. And I remember the first two clinics I did for Maranatha. One was in Phoenix and one was in Detroit. And neither one of those were very well attended. In fact, they lost money on those and they were kind of bummed about that. But I was glad because I only had 20 guitar players in my clinics. And I was so nervous about teaching clinics the first couple times. Well, not the first 5 times I did it. I actually wore baggy pants so you couldn't see my knees shaking, and I leaned up against the wall so I could steady myself. Because I wouldn't sleep beforehand. I wouldn't eat. I was like so nervous. And but by the time I got to the end of that first year, Seattle I think was one of the last ones. I was averaging 200 and 300 people in the clinics. And by then I was like, I got this. But there would always be the guys in the front row sitting there, mostly guys. And they'd be like this, like, impress me. You know? And so when you're sitting in a room with a guitar in your hand and you've got like, you know, a certain percentage of the room is like going, okay, why is this guy teaching me anything? You know? And I never, ever tried to impress anyone. I would just start showing them stuff. And they'd be like, by the end of the class, I'm like, dude, that was the best clinic I ever went to. So I just kind of show them stuff. So anyway, yeah, no, Portland probably not a good place to go right now, or Seattle. But the area is gorgeous, you know, and there's a lot more to Portland, or a lot more to Oregon than Portland. Sad to say. Let's see, what else is going on? Oh, nice. Oh, I wonder if mine's on the way. I'll have to, let me check. Boom, boom, boom. I'll check and see if my mug's on the way. Oh, it is. My order just shipped. Okay. Verdi, did you text me or email me at the Gmail account? David Salkin said something. I haven't seen David in a while. But, you know, a lot of you are getting back to work, and I totally am stoked about that. Glad to see the COVID numbers are way down in places like New York and New Jersey. I know they're up in Texas and Florida and California. They're up, but yeah, it's. I think part of the reason New York's numbers are so low is because they got to the point of herd immunity so much faster. And I still think only about 20% of the population can actually get the thing. I think 70 to 80% of us already have some kind of immunity built in. Maybe. I forget, yeah, because you're going, you know, Avito, I'm fine with you just making your own t-shirt. Just go to your local neighborhood t-shirt maker and make one get one made for $5. It'd be a lot cheaper. In fact, any of you are welcome to do that. Yeah, that's yeah, because they were the bars. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a bummer, but some people and people don't always use common sense. I mean, I saw pictures of Brooklyn where people were just partying in the streets. They opened the bars up and everybody was out in the streets and they weren't social distancing. They weren't wearing masks either. So, but in New York, probably most of them already had it, so they can't get it again. So well, we're hopefully we're not going to go too far backwards, but it's also become a giant political mess where some people are blaming Cuomo for this, and some people are blaming DeSantis for this. And it's like really, this you would think this would be something that would bring us all together, and I can't believe how much it's done the opposite. So yeah, Apple stores are shutting down everywhere. I think they're shutting them everywhere. I don't, and they may never reopen them. I saw that Microsoft is not going to reopen any of their stores, except like New York, Paris, London, and Redmond. That's it. So, yeah, that's gonna. We haven't. The dust hasn't settled yet. When the dust settles on this, then we'll know what the cost was. But we don't know that yet. Um, Jamie, what's going on? Yeah, yeah, and you know what? I mean, the thing was, I saw that the mayor of um, San Diego, they've had like 22 cases of death by COVID specifically, and then they had another 168 that were attributed to COVID, but it was somebody who died of a heart attack, and they tested them for COVID, and they had COVID. Somebody died of cancer. That's a lot of the numbers. Also, I saw that CNN reported that the actual number of infections may be 10 times what's reported, which means it's not 2.5 million, it's 25 million people have got it, so or had it. So that means that the death rate is even lower than if it's 1/10 what they've been saying. So that's kind of nice. Sorry to get off on the sidetracking. Yeah, yeah, and I don't wear a mask when I leave the house unless I'm going into a business or something like that where they require it. But if I'm walking down the street by myself with my wife, I'm not wearing a mask. I can't stand it. It makes me hyperventilate and claustrophobic. Um, you be kitty, not reunited with your Martin. You forgot about it. I have. Yeah, and by the way, Jamie, I love British Columbia. I've been to Vancouver, and it's just gorgeous. Um, I love that city. I had so much fun there. It was also doing the same thing. It was in the '90s, late '90s, doing clinics. Really, really, really liked it. Um, but I had a guitar stolen, a really nice Stratocaster stolen. That was a bummer. Um, Yeah, the numbers are it's hard because some people are well, China, you couldn't trust any of their numbers because they were BSing, but that's just because they can, um, and so um, hard to trust a lot of the numbers. That's true. Yeah, Victoria's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous up there. The thing is, it's just too much rain for me. I don't think I could live up there, and plus Canada wouldn't take me. They won't let me in, ever. Not just because of COVID, just because now. No, we don't want you. We got rid of Bieber. Why would we want you? Take care, Jim. Bonnie. Oh, Jim Horse is taking off. Okay. Um, exactly. Um, yeah, the quail. Yeah, exactly. I mean, um, the masks. They keep changing their um, recommendations on mask stuff, and I understand originally it was because they wanted to have as many masks for people as possible, for the healthcare professionals as possible. And then they wanted, but it's just weird because the numbers are so low in New York right now, like radically low compared to where they were. Their numbers totals are awful, but then California is like spiking and getting new highs every day. So, and I'm in California, but not seeing it. Like I said a couple days ago, my friend, she's a member of the Producers Guild, and they sent her a test kit, and she took the test, and it said she had the antibodies, so she'd already had it and didn't know it. And her 93-year-old mother, who's here right now, lives with her, has lived with him for 11 years. Oh, I changed guitars. You can take a sip. Oh, I touched my face again. So 3 sips. One for the face, one for the guitar, and one for the face. Yeah, I heard that 47% of Americans are thinking of selling their homes because of COVID losses. That's a huge number. It means that everybody's houses are going to go down in value, and it means there's going to be a lot of houses on the market. That just means they're thinking about it. Doesn't mean they're going to do it. But a lot of people, when they say that, it's because they kind of see the writing on the wall that their income's not going to come back, and they can't afford their mortgage. So it's going to be interesting. But I mean, our mortgage is cheaper than a 2-bedroom apartment in LA, so it doesn't make any sense to stop paying our mortgage because you pay more in rent. Catherine's here. Well, Catherine, you can watch later because we did some new scales. Oh, we did a review, and then we did 2 new pentatonic shapes, or a new pentatonic shape, minor pentatonic shape, D minor pentatonic, and a D minor blues. And I'll rescan this. I'll put it right here, right now. I'm going to scan it right now and put it up on Discord. If I can do it. And then Monday we'll do the major scales. So we'll do G major, C major, and then probably D mixolydian. We'll talk about the scales again, so you know a little bit of theory behind it. Yeah, for me, the biggest drag about the COVID thing for me is Beppe. It's funny that Beppe just lined. Yeah, go for it. Oh, weird. Okay. You know what you can do, Beppe, if you can. If you want, you can upload it to YouTube and just set it as private. And then just send me the link, and then I can see it. Breakfast. So, yeah, the biggest bummer for me is I love traveling. I want to go to Europe, but right now they're not going to let any Americans in anywhere. So we're going to have to put that off until next year probably, which is a bummer because I kind of wanted to. I was even thinking about going somewhere in the fall. A couple of reasons. One, I love doing it, and because it would be cheap right now, and also because I want to support the industries because those industries are just getting brutalized right now, and I would love to be able to help them. So, yeah. I'm not going to rent out anything. Keep in mind I managed an apartment building to 30 households for 25 years. So the last thing I want is to have to deal. I was like in charge of. I was responsible for 30 families essentially, and I'm done with that. So. And we don't really have any. It wouldn't be easy to rent any of our rooms. We don't have a basement or anything. It's a 1-story house. At some point, if we require live-in assistance, 100 years from now, then we'll make that work. But yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, but you're right. That is and a lot of people are doing that. In fact, in California, they got rid of, which is a bummer, but they got rid of the designation of single-family home designation, meaning any house in any city can be technically turned into a quad, which, I don't want my neighbors all turning their houses into quads, or I'm going to have basically apartment buildings all around me. And I moved to the suburbs, take a sip, to kind of get away from living in neighborhoods of nothing but apartments. That's where I lived in Pasadena. So, yeah, man, we actually looked at houses that have ADUs, which are rentable units, with the thought that if business slowed down, I could close up my studio and rent it out to someone. But I make way too much money. No, I'm kidding. Oh, you're out of water. Yeah, we got too many sippable offenses here, Bruce. This is not good. So, but yeah, I'm gonna do. We'll do scales, and I will talk about the theory behind the scales again on Monday a little bit, so that you kind of have a refresher course. And then let me post some links because we talked about. Let's see. Oh, it says my order shipped. When is it going to be here? Expected July 7th. Wow, that's a long time from now. Where is it coming from? That's crazy. Oh, I got to scan. Sorry, too many things at once. Come on. There we go. Scan. Open software, please. Thank you. Where are you? Dang, seriously. Oh, here we go. Auto scan. This is kind of the most cumbersome software. It's more of a PC software. It just doesn't feel like a Mac software. Let's see. And then the other thing I was going to do was get you some links. The jam tracks are what I'm thinking about. So I'm going to post, I'll do the 100 beats per minute one. It's in key of G. You can slow it down on YouTube by 25%, 50%, 75%. You can speed it up if you want to, which is so cool. It's the coolest thing ever. So, okay, it was bluegrass. And I'm waiting for, there's D, bluegrass, jam, and G, all right. And then here's the link. Okay, that's done. Exit, save as PDF, browse. Open minor pence. Sorry, open minor pence 2 and put it in here, live stream, and I'll upload it right now, okay? I did. Why is it? Okay, there we go. Clear. Yeah, see, this is where software is cumbersome. Okay, so here's the, doing too many things at once. Here is the jam track. So you can start practicing playing over these progressions. And oh, I'm getting behind here. Yes, whole, half, whole, half for major scale. Very good, Avito. And for Mixolydian, it would be whole, half, whole. Which also works great. Let's see. Yeah, the single family dwelling. That's just the reason they're doing that now in California is to try to lower rents, to have more rentable units out there. That's a toughy thing, because really the best way to let that work out is market supply. Because I remember back in the late 80s, rents were skyrocketing and into the early 90s. And so what happened was all these builders go, we're going to make it rich. All these millionaires are building buildings and going, we're going to get richer. And they build all these buildings. And there's a glut, and everybody's moving out of California in the early 90s. And there's a glut, and everybody, all of a sudden, like our building, our rent didn't go up for 8 years because there was such a glut of, I remember when the owners started to finally raise the rents $25 a month, people were complaining. I'm like, are you kidding? You went 8 years without a rent raise, and now you're complaining for $25? Yes. Yeah. Yep, you can slow it down on YouTube. Did I post it? I did. Okay, so you can slow it down, you can speed it up if you want, and the pitch stays exactly the same. It gets a little underwater sounding, but it's a very, very cool feature. Also, I mentioned the, who's calling me? Oh, Alex. Hey, Alex, I'm doing my live stream. You want to say hi to everybody? Hold on, let me put you on speaker.
Hi, live stream friends.
No, they didn't hear that. Okay, now say it. Say hi, Alex.
Hey, everyone.
Do you want me to call you back in a minute, or do you want? Is this something you can talk to me now about?
No, it's not. It's not super urgent.
It's not private.
No, it's just I was gonna walk over to T-Mobile and you know get a new phone, so I wanted to make sure you were around in case I had any questions or that I
Oh,
needed to get an account.
right. If you need a password or something like that. Yeah. No worries. Yeah, actually, if
Very
you
good.
want, have them find out if there's a better deal for the family plan that we have. They, it's always good every now and every couple of years to kind of ask them. You got because you got a better deal than what I'm paying now. Although what I'm paying now isn't bad.
No, it's a great deal. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go check in and see what the I know what the new price is, so I'm just gonna go look. I'll let you know.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for talking.
Okay. No worries. Bye.
Bye.
All right. That was funny. Everybody saying, Alex, play us a tune. I think he was walking. He was walking over to T-Mobile. So that link there is the YouTube pick video I did, where I was talking about the scratchy pick. And really, I did another video too on picks. Let's see, where was that? Pick. My glow and gravity pick. Some quick pick tips. Yeah. So this I actually did. This one was when? Was this after I got big? Don't remember. Where's the date on this? It doesn't say. Weird. Okay. Well, it would say if I went to it, but I don't want to listen to the ad. Hold on. Okay. Yes. I did this. It's only got like 2,600 views. But this one is just about picks in general. And I'm really into picks. I probably should get more into strings, although I kind of pseudo endorse Elixir strings. I mainly like Elixir strings just because I have so many guitars that I don't use very often, but occasionally you need them, or I need them. Like for example, the Rickenbacker 12 string or just a 12 string acoustic. And the last thing I want to do is, show up at a session and have really rusty strings on a guitar. Or the last thing, even worse, is opening the case up the night before a session and go, dang it, I got to replace these strings. So I can pretty much with confidence put strings on a guitar and know that they're going to be good for a year or two, even if I don't play the guitar. It's funny because, the other day Alex was playing the Django guitar, the blonde one up there on the top. And those strings are dead and they're rusty and they hurt and you cut yourself on them. And it's because they're not Elixirs. They're ones that Elixir doesn't make these kind. They're loop ends. They're specifically for gypsy guitars, gypsy jazz guitars. And so the strings when they're brand new are amazing and sound great, but they don't last long and they're very expensive. And I'm like, dang it, it's frustrating. So I have to wait. I have to go. Okay, I'm going to record like 3 gypsy tunes and then I'll change the strings because otherwise I'm not gonna. I don't want to have it just sitting up there and not getting used. Yes. One of the things, I do the same thing, Jamie. Jamie's saying I'm losing even more hair over finding the right pick for me that doesn't spin in my fingers. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know how old you are, Jamie, but another thing about getting older, you notice that, when you go to the Target and they have the big handle stuff for kitchen utensils, the big handles are for people that maybe have arthritis issues or issues, older people. And I found that this pick is a little bit bigger. Well, yeah, it's a little bit bigger than my old pick. You can see the purple one was my old pick, and you can see the green one behind it. So it's a little bit bigger, and I like the bigger pick, to be honest now. This thing feels small. Now, when I play gypsy jazz, this is smaller, so this is what I used, and this is... So you can see maybe some purple behind there, yeah. But this is a very, very thick pick. It's 3 millimeters. And it's a very fast pick. I like to use it on acoustic guitar solos too. But I've got, these are just the picks I have out. And then I have, I have picks specifically for bluegrass, for mandolin. I even have the I want to try to find more of these, but the jellyfish pick, it got wet and rusty, unfortunately. And that's just a bunch of, looks like D strings. It's supposed to sound like a 12 string. It doesn't, but it does have a cool texture to it for weird stuff. But one thing you could try, Jamie, is a thumb pick. The only thing is, and they do make ones that have like, it looks like a thumb pick, but it has a real pick on it like this. Okay, but it's a thumb pick. They do make those. You could totally, you could go to Amazon, and if you go to Amazon, go through one of my links, and then I get a percentage of the sale. And I appreciate you doing that, you guys. I see you all do that every now and then. I really appreciate it. But you can't drop a thumb pick, very easily. Although if I do drop a thumb pick, you guys get to take 2 sips. So only 1 sip on a regular pick. That's one of our drinking game rules. So. But that, a thumb pick won't spin in your fingers. One of the things too, though, like this pick, the U2 pick, he uses the side of it. He doesn't use the tip of it. Now, the thing I like about this pick is it is thin. So I can get kind of if I'm gonna do like play an acoustic guitar part on an electric guitar, I might grab, for one thing, I'll try to use open strings. The other thing I'll try to do is get a thinner pick so it has a little bit more of a slappier sound if you're imitating an acoustic guitar part on electric. But then you've got the side of the pick where I spin it around intentionally to get that friction and that scratchy sound that I really like. Yeah, and like I said, I like, I bought a couple thumb picks recently because I wanted to try different ones. So I got the National Large, which actually are really nice. I should probably mess around with these more than this white one. The other thing you can do too is if it's too long or you're like getting too deep into strings, you can file it down a little bit. The problem I have with a thumb pick is I tend to get the string caught underneath the thing if I try to play it like a regular pick. Do I have a sound up? You'll be able to hear that. What? I got videos of flickering. Anyway, so I posted some videos you can check out. And then I will, so July 7th, I'm supposed to get my mug. So like I said, Monday we'll talk more about we'll go to diatonic scales in the open position. G major, C major, and D mixolydian. And then probably Wednesday we'll do some more. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll just show you some licks. We can do that. That would be kind of fun. Took my page. I gotta shave my beard. It's itching. We'll show you maybe some bluegrass licks and things like that. We can practice and you can try to get down. And one of the things, just on a side note, you can think of it when you're, I don't really have it written out, but that basic chord progression that I use is basically a bar of G, a bar of C, a bar of G, and a bar of D. If you see those 4 bars laid out, and you just imagine a lick being played over those, you can see the lick. You could do a lick over G and then a lick over C, and you could do a lick over G and then a lick over D. Okay, and that's one way to approach, and that may be a stylistic thing that some guitar players do. The other thing you could do, though, it's almost more interesting to do a lick. So in other words, start the lick a little later over G and make it a transitional lick from G to C. And those are more difficult, but like, for example, you need to come up with some licks that are going to take you from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. And then you're going to need some licks that take you from the 4 chord to the 1 chord. And then from the 1 chord to the 5 chord. And from the 5 to 1. So you can't just have a G chord, a G lick, you need... those would be licks you would play right over the chord. But if over G... it's a. That would be a lick that would be transitory. Is that a word? I think that's right. So we may talk about that too. I don't know. We'll talk about stuff. Eventually we'll find something to talk about. I have no doubt. Okay, Leo. Today's PDF info will be posted on Discord. Yes. Let me post it right now. Sorry. Discord. Here, new one. The Open Minor Pentatonics 2 document. No, desktop. Live stream stuff. There we go. This should do it. So it's redundant. Most of that PDF is redundant, but there's new information on it. So that should get you there. And then, okay. So that is that. Oviedo, sorry. Quick question. How do I know when to go to the next string VS versus going further on the same string? That's completely up to you. There's nothing. There's no way to do that. There's no rule, I should say. One thing I would recommend though is that yes, E over G sharp is a passing chord from G to A minor. Yeah, not in the key of G, but it works. It's the 5 of the A minor chord. E major is the 5 over the 1. The A minor. Hey, David. No, it's okay, David. We missed you. I saw your email. Yes, I figured you were back to work, and I'm so glad. And I'm so glad the numbers in New York are so down, so low. That's great. It's good news. I think you got herd immunity because everybody was out rioting and protesting, and then I saw people out partying in the streets and stuff like that. I'm like, in New York City, and so I'm like, yeah, they must have all had it already. Yeah. So you were asking me about going up and down the street. One thing you should, this is long-term type stuff, okay? But ultimately, see, we learned the pentatonic scale right here, the G, but I could play it on every string. Alex is texting me. Hold on a second. Anyway, so I will see you guys on Monday, and we'll do major scales, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. And we will, David, take care of yourself. You can watch backwards if you want. I will probably be putting ads in there soon, but, click past the ads. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.